Good morning, Summerville. I'm Wendell Nolan, and today we are bringing you a chapter of our local history that truly defines the spirit of Low Country. In this exclusive interview, Ken Battle sits down with a man whose life reads like a roadmap of progress, Mr. Tillman Millhouse. Growing up in segregated Summerville, Tillman's journey took him from Austin High School to the front lines of history. With the support of local figures like Ms. Carol Lou Aiken and Mayor Luke, he broke barriers to become one of the first black South Carolina Highway Patrol officers in the class of 1971. From protecting civil rights icons to building a legendary family legacy right here at home, this is the story of character, courage, and community. So let's go to Ken Battle with this special interview.
Good morning, Summerville. I'm here today with Tillman Millhouse. I'm Ken Battle with the Summerville Dorchester Museum. We're here to have a conversation about legendary locals. And Tillman is an individual with a very interesting story that I believe you would all want to hear. So, good morning, Tillman.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
Good morning, Mr. Battle. I'm doing fine.
So, can you tell me a little bit about how your family arrived in Summerville, South Carolina?
My maternal grandparents were born here. My paternal grandparents they resided in Bamberg, South Carolina, and I think it was in 1918. My grandfather decided to move from Bamberg to Somerville because in Bamberg there was no kind of employment reasons to stay there, and the town wasn't growing.
Oh, no employment. So employment brought you to Summerville.
Yes, brought my grandfather
Okay.
here.
All right. And how many are in your family
Sir?
currently? How many were in your family when you moved here to Summerville? Was your grandparent, his wife, any other individuals?
Yes, my grandfather and his wife, and he had two sons, Tillman, which is my father, Tillman Senior, then Booker T. Millhouse. In my family, I have four children.
Great. You also, when you arrived here in Summerville, growing up here in Summerville, you had an opportunity to attend school, and I hear you attended Alston. Can you tell me a little bit about Alston?
I did, and I went to elementary school and high school at Alston School, which is on Bryan Street and Cedar Street. Um, I stayed there until we moved from there to the new school, which is on Brown Street now.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Do you remember any of the libraries or anything like that that were around during that period of time?
I don't remember the librarian per se. I know some of the names, the principal, and some of the major teachers. That one of them, Mr. John Gregg, he had a school named after him, which is Gregg. I think it's middle school.
All right.
At Summerville High School.
So tell me where your family lived. When you moved to Somerville, you moved here from Bamberg. And where did your family locate? Where did they decide to live here in Somerville?
My grandparents had a relative here, Ori Gibbs, and he stayed with her, and he did a lot of sharecropping at the time. And he saved enough where he was able to build a small house. On the property that he owned, my maternal grandfather owned that property.
And that property was located where?
It's in Orangeburg Road.
On Orangeburg Road.
Yes.
So we had a number of different areas of Somerville. Can you tell me about any areas that you remember, like Brownsville, maybe, or and what they were called in the black community?
Well, Pigeons Bay was in the one area that's called, they were predominantly black, and Germantown, which I'm from, was also predominantly black there.
All right,
And
tell me about the bay. Is that what they called it then?
Pigeon Bay at that time.
Pigeon Bay.
And it's
They
still
called it
known as
Pigeon Bay.
Still known as Pigeon Bay today.
All right. And Germantown.
Germantown is which I reside.
And tell me a little bit about Germantown. How did they get the name Germantown?
My grandparents always told me that Germantown, they had Germans residing there at the time. And In 1883, this was my granduncle, William Wilson. He was able to buy property and build a house, which I live on today. William was a musician, and William was blessed to play for two presidents. President
William, and what was William's last name?
Wilson.
William Wilson.
William
And he
Wilson.
played for two presidents. What two presidents? Do you remember?
President Taft and President Roosevelt. And
How did he come about to know the two presidents?
Well, he was a musician at the Carolina Inn and at the Pine Forest Inn. And when they would come to Summerville, that's two places they would frequent.
Wow. Okay, that is very interesting because you know the historical significance of the Carolina Inn. So during that period of time, who do you think was their major connection with the Carolina Inn?
I don't know how he got there, but he lived about 2 blocks away from the Carolina Inn. And there also was other blacks on the band. In fact, a person in the neighborhood was to do a story, and they came by and they got some information from me about where he lived. And I explained to him that the property he stood on at that time was his property.
How long did he actually perform at you said the Pine Forest Inn and the Carolina Inn?
Yes, I know
How many years did he perform there?
Well, it'd be, I guess, around 1912. He died in 1938, I believe, that he died. And when he died, my mother, Anna Mae Wilson Millhouse, she then came to stay with the wife, which was Margaret Wilson. And Margaret got her
in the same location,
same house.
Same house.
Margaret, she did her work mainly for the predominantly white neighborhoods that was rich, and she would do all their laundry.
Well, I know just spending time here in Summerville, I've learned quite a bit about the Pine Forest Inn and about the Carolina Inn and the significance of that to Summerville. What we have not talked about is the connection between what the Black community and individuals in the Black community have done in terms of promoting what was there and the lifestyle that was there. So, what I'd like to go into now is just a little bit about the Pine Forest Inn and what you can remember about the Pine Forest Inn. So, can you tell me a little bit about your relatives? And besides music, do you think they remember anything else about their time at the Pine Forest Inn?
Music is all I know, and then my aunt, she did laundry for them. Before they tore it down, I had an occasion to be in there several times. And one thing I was always afraid there was a cellar there.
There was a cellar in the Pine Forest Inn.
Yes, beneath
And
the base.
you were afraid to go down in the cellar?
Yes, my grandfather would take me down there sometimes, and I would be afraid because I always had a musky odor.
And why was it necessary for your grandfather to be in the cellar of the Pine Forest Inn?
Well, he was just showing me around what he could.
So it sounds like he had a relationship with the owners there. And was it a relationship that was a friendship relationship, or was it just as a worker?
I don't know. It could have been a little bit more than workmanship. I don't know.
But it sounds like he had a little bit of leeway and responsibility, and he could basically move around in the Pine Forest Inn at his leisure.
Right. He played mainly at night, and this was daytime.
Okay. All right. Well, moving on from there, then that's an opportunity for him to be connected with some of the significant historical facts about the Pine Forest Inn. About you and your growth here. You were born here in Summerville, you said.
Yes.
What schools did you attend, and what was life like growing up in Summerville?
Well, I attended Alston School, and during that time, we had to walk to school.
How far was that to get to Alston?
I would estimate it to probably be maybe 2.25 miles.
And did you know Dr. Alston?
I met him when I was young, but I was too young to know him other than remember the name.
Okay, how old were you then when you started attending Alston?
Uh, so 8 years old, 7 years old. Yeah.
And what school did you attend after you left Alston? So you went to Alston up to what grade?
I went to Austin, I think, through the 7th grade, and the new school was finished maybe, I forgot the year, on Bryan Street. And that's why I graduated from there.
You graduated from Alston High School.
Yes,
All right. What year did you graduate from Alston?
1960.
1960. What was it like in Summerville in 1960?
Summerville was a small town, it was a family town. We knew everybody. My father, which he's a vet.
Tell us a little bit about graduating from high school and what you decided to do after you graduated from high school.
Okay, after I graduated, my intentions was to attend Gupton College as a mortician. My wife was pregnant at the time, which we didn't know until later. So I decided to get married. But before that,
What year did you get married?
1960.
You got married in 1960.
1960.
Okay. And you were at the same time thinking about going to college.
Yes, my parents had already paid the tuition. They were willing to send me anyhow. Mrs. Aiken during that time was the owner of the Black Funeral Home here, and she also wanted to assist me in going.
So Aiken Funeral Home had been around for how long? You've known them from the time you were growing up?
Well, I'm 82, and it was there then, so I don't know.
Well, that's great to have someone supporting you and looking out for your future. So did you go ahead and attend college?
No, I didn't. I decided to be a man, and I decided to get an employment, and I took care of my family, and I'm happy to say that I think I did a good job.
Well, tell me about your very first job in Summerville.
I think my very first job was over at Wilbert Vaults Company, Burial Vaults. They were located in Casey, and they decided to move here. And I was one of the first ones to be hired at the Vault Company.
All right.
I had connections there by working to the funeral home. They knew about me then.
So you were working at Aiken Funeral Home.
Aiken Funeral Home.
And through your connections at Aiken, you were able to get employment at Vault.
Yes.
All right. And how long did you work for them?
I worked with Vault probably about 5 years.
And what occurred after the 5 years?
The next 5 years, it was Miller Brothers Flooring. I decided to go there for more money, and I worked over there a few years.
What was employment like then in terms of relationships in Summerville? I know they say that Summerville was a little bit different, that the individuals in the Black community and white community really got along well. Did that help you at all in terms of getting employment?
It helped me a whole lot because I was well known. My parents were well known. I went to Southern Mill Supply, which was owned by Mayor Luke family, and I worked there for about maybe 7 years. And he took an interest in me, and during that time, he wrote the highway commissioner, and he told them that when they decided to hire the first Black, I was highly recommended.
So this is moving on to a career as a highway patrolman.
Yes.
All right. And so you had a recommendation. And when did you actually get an opportunity to apply to become a highway patrolman?
In 1970, I had an application to attend the Highway Patrol Academy. I went through all of the procedures, the physical, the exams. But unfortunately, my sister had died December 11th at that year, and I couldn't go up for that time. So the next year, then I went.
So you were able to attend 1 year after you actually applied.
Yes.
And what was it like at the academy?
The academy, academically, I had no problem. I did have some problems, which is different now. Everybody had different ideas, and had different personalities. But I graduated with no problem.
So you're saying you had a few issues or different problems during that period of time? Was it because you were black, or was it because of some other reason?
I think it was because I was black, 'cause they weren't used to the culture change. But it wasn't anything that was really out of hand, but I was treated a little different in some ways.
So it was a little more difficult for you think,
It was difficult, but I was determined, like I am now.
through your determination, so you were able to persevere and graduate.
I did. I
And
graduated.
when did you graduate?
I graduated April the 10th, 1971. And I was assigned Columbia. I worked in Columbia from 71 to 75, which I was trying to get back home. My mother was sick, dying with cancer. And it was hard for me getting to come back. And my mother died August the 12th. And my transfer came through, I think it was November the same year. So I decided to leave to come back. And since I was leaving, they offered me a promotion to stay.
So you were able to come back to the Summerville area as a highway patrolman.
I was able to come back.
What was it like as a black highway patrolman enforcing the law in this community?
In this community, things is different. They had a lot of respect. The young children, you could talk to them like a parent. You could call the parent and tell them what's what. But
And this was all children, black and white?
black and white. I had no problems per se to say that I had a lot of problems because I would be telling the untruth. My career was very satisfying. I loved it, and I'd do it again.
And who was your immediate supervisor?
My immediate supervisor when I came here was Captain Cantrell was the captain, and he had several other lieutenants with they're dead now. But
And how big was the force? That
we had 7 here in, I think, Dorchester County. But during that time, they had about 1,500 statewide, in which they lost several hundred. I think it's down now.
And you said that you eventually were promoted and you became a supervisor?
Well, I turned 3 promotions down due to the fact that I'm a family man.
All right.
My kids, they were at Summerville High School, and they excel in football, baseball, track. And I wanted to be there to practice and support them.
So the promotions would have taken you out of the area of Summerville.
It would have. And it was too hard for me getting back.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. So you decided to make that decision to continue your career here, even though you could have been promoted sooner by going elsewhere, but you decided to stay in Summerville and support your family.
I'm a family man, and I'm glad I did. As a result, I now have 6 children in the Hall of Fame at Summerville.
Now, tell me a little bit about the Hall of Fame then, with 6 children in the Hall of Fame. How did that come about?
Well, they were good at what they did. Nobody gave them anything. They had the talent. They had some good teachers, which we really didn't need teachers to help them get a scholarship, but we stayed on them to be sure they took the right courses.
So, what Hall of Fame did they actually enter into?
Some
And were they all the same?
Summerville High School, we have some went for football, some went for baseball.
Okay, so
Yeah.
your children went into the Hall of Fame here in Somerville for sports.
Yes,
Okay, Somerville High School.
Summerville High School.
All right.
Green Waves.
The Green Wave.
Green Waves.
So what sports did your children actually participate in?
Ronald played baseball and he played football, and he was fortunate enough to go to the World Series in Georgia, Tipton, Georgia, one year, which wasn't for the high school; it was for a league here.
All right.
But he did hit the winning home run to win.
And he hit the winning home run to win. So you won the World Series.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And exactly what we didn't want to happen happened.
Yes, I thought it was all.
All right. So you had one, and that was in baseball?
Baseball, football, and track.
All right. So what was his football career like?
He was Ronald was have a stature like me so far as big and strong. He was fast. My whole family was extremely fast.
All right.
So
What other children entered into? So this is the Summerville Hall of Fame. You know, they're holding records right there at Summerville High School.
my daughter Sharon, she held the long jump record for years. I heard that somebody might have broken it maybe 5 or 6 years ago, which I'm not sure. But
Okay.
she held it from the 80s until that happened, if it
Now,
did.
now, what about you? Okay, you said you went to Austin High School.
Austin High School.
Were you there when the school closed?
Yes.
All right, and tell me a little bit about integration then, when they decided to close Austin and actually move everyone into Summerville. What was that like for you?
When they moved from integration,
For yes, when they decided to close Austin High School.
well, it was a sad day. Even though we had better equipment, they had newer school, we got better books, we had transportation at that time. But it was sad to see the whole school go because it's like a tradition that I knew of.
Now, was there a chapel at Austin High School?
I don't remember a chapel.
Now, tell me also, when they actually closed Austin, um, how long did it take for them to, actually move everything from Austin? And you said everyone moved to Summerville High
Everyone
School,
moved from old Austin into the new Austin,
into the new Austin.
right, which is on
Okay.
Bryant Street.
All right. Now, was the new Austin an integrated school?
No, it was segregated,
It was still segregated.
still segregated.
So when they actually integrated the school, were you there when they actually integrated it and you had to attend the new school, or had you graduated already?
I had already graduated, and I was in the area. I did have my children. They
So your
experienced
children experienced the integration.
they experienced segregation and they experienced integration.
All right. What year did your first child enter into Summerville High School?
We can go back on Debbie.
Okay. All right. Let's continue with Debbie. So Debbie was at Austin High School, but during integration, she left Austin and went to Summerville. What
Yes.
was it like? What did she tell you it was like when they integrated the school?
Well, something they had to get used to. But like I said, my family, we were well known. This was a small town. Everybody knew everybody. And Somerville during that time was segregated, but it was not like other places I've been in that they had that kind of problems.
Okay. So did in Somerville then, even though the town was segregated during that period of time, there was a lot of interaction between the black community and the white community.
Yes, we would play together. They play together. You can come to go to each other's houses at that time. You couldn't go in and make yourself like you do now. Have a full run of the house.
It was more formal or
Informal.
it was more informal.
Informal.
Okay.
But everybody knew everybody, and we had a lot of them to come to the house. In fact, a few of them stayed over.
So you had individual. Who were some of the families that you interacted with in Summerville that were most meaningful to you?
Well, the Kramers, the Knights, the Warrens. The reason I said the Warrens went back to my grandparents,
All right.
which was the fire chief and his son. That's their grandfather, great grandfather.
So we currently have a mirror wearing.
That's the man I'm talking about.
All right. So you've known that family for some time, all the way back to your grandparents.
Right. My grandmother had electrical meter box that during that time was on the back porch, and they had fuses in it. And during an electrical storm, they would have to call. She would call Dickie. Dickie was the male grandfather.
Okay.
Call Dickie, and Dickie would come. He would come and replace the fuse and put it back in operation.
All right. So they helped her whenever there's trouble with electrical. And Dickie was had an electrical company, or was it what type of company?
He was an electrician.
He was an electrician.
But whenever she calls, he responded.
He responded.
Yes.
Well, tell me then about you as a trooper and the time that you were here in Summerville What other areas did you patrol besides right around Summerville?
Well, I worked the whole state. At times, we'd had what we call used to be the saturation squad, where they'd get a group of troops from all over the state. And say, for instance, we might go to Greenville for a week and enforce the laws. And the next week, you might be in Anderson. The next week, it could be in Florence or whatever.
So you provided protection details. You had to. Did you ever have to work with the governor?
Yes, I worked the governor before. Also, I was assigned to President Bush when he came out to Summerville, his detail.
All right. When President Bush was here, and you were assigned to that detail, what was your role?
My role was I had to follow the vehicle, but provide protection. And since I was local, he was here to tour the devastation from Hugo. And I was what called my second from the Secret Service detail.
I bet that was quite interesting for you. Did you actually have an opportunity to speak with President Bush?
Not that time, no. But in 1972, President Nixon, he came to Columbia. And he was at the State House, and I was on duty. And my duty was right there with the president, right at the front door.
So you were able to be on presidential details for two presidents.
Yes. But I talked to President Nixon. A newspaper reporter came over, and he saw my name tag had Millhouse on it. And he knew that President Nixon's middle name was Millhouse. And he came over to talk to us. And the president started talking to me like we talking one-on-one. He wanted to know where was I from. And I told him my grandparents was from Bamberg area. And he said my grandparents was around that geographical area. And surprisingly, Senator Hollins, he was with us, with three of us.
Three of you were
standing together.
At the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
So then Senator Hollins said his family was connected with the Millhouses. So they spent, my name was Mill. He spelled his name with Millhous. And Senator Hollins, I think, is one L, which some of my family in Bamberg is one L. But the news reporter saw it, and he made a big story in the News and Courier.
But there wasn't any connection between your family and Senator Hollins' family in terms of relatives or anything. No blood relations, right?
As far as I know, it's no blood relation, but they do know of the Millhouses, and they know about it from that area.
Of the names.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what other instances do you think would be significant as a patrolman that you think people would want to know about?
Okay, when I was in 19, I forgot the exact year. It could have been 1973. Representative, the former Congressman John Lewis, he was in the Columbia, and I was assigned his detail, which I had to go to the Columbia airport and pick him up, which says pictures all over the internet.
Now, John Lewis is a very interesting individual.
Very interesting.
And John Lewis spent a lot of time telling the story about civil rights.
Yes.
So were you able to have a conversation with him about the status of civil rights in the Summerville area?
Not the Summerville, but he would tell me about the John Pettis Bridge in Selma.
Edmund Pettis Bridge in Selma?
Yeah, the marches, and he'd also tell me he was so glad to be around somebody his own color, which would be in the patrol car, which he's my patrol car.
So he was happy that you were escorting him around.
He knew he wouldn't get beat up, and he knew that he was in good hands, wasn't going to jail. And we made a joke out of it.
And how long was he in the area then when?
Well, I think he stayed here either 2 or 3 days, and wherever he went, I had to go. Where he stayed, I had to stay.
Well, what did you find most interesting about John Lewis?
I found, first of all, his stature, by being a small man, and he was just unafraid of anything. No matter, you could do whatever you need, hit him in the head or whatever. He'd get up and he would bounce right back.
So he was a determined individual.
for the
and he was a staunch advocate for civil rights.
Yes, sir.
And for black people.
Yes.
Okay, and he was very. Would you say he was proud that you were with him that day, and that's why the conversation went so well?
Yes, during that time, we only had about maybe 4 or 5 black troops in the whole state of South Carolina. And he was surprised to know that I was assigned to him. And I can remember Chief Strom, he was the chief over SLED.
Okay.
And he called me aside and he said, look, you got a very important man here. He said, don't let anything happen to him in our state. And I promised him that.
Tell me a little bit about, I know we're sitting here, I know we've had a conversation for some time now, just talking about interesting individuals that Tillman has had an opportunity to have a conversation with and to meet. You know, it's always appreciative for our youth to know of individuals who have met presidents, who have met significant individuals in Congress, been a part of civil rights. And these are the things that we want our youth to know about. And these things occurred right here from an individual who grew up in our area, the area of Summerville, South Carolina. Before we actually leave, I want him to just tell us a little bit about what he sees as the future of Summerville, South Carolina today. So, Tillman, tell me about your life right now, and where do you see Summerville going in the future?
I see Summerville growing to be a major, medium-sized city, which is already a city. When I was coming up, it was 1 fire department, 3 police officers. But there's a lot of expansion going on. There's new industry coming in, a lot of jobs.
And what role do you think Black people should take?
Well, the first thing, a Black person should get all the education they can get. That's number one. And the second thing is your record. You're going to have to keep your record unblemished because there's a lot of competition
So you're saying
out
we really should take this opportunity to be involved in the growth of Summerville.
Yes, sir.
This is great.
I'm
glad that we're here today with Tillman. He's going to add one more thing. Let's see what he has to add.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I would like to add that I also had Ms. Rosa Parks. She was in Charleston, South Carolina. And I think that was 1975, and I was assigned to her 5 days. And she had a cousin, which is well-known civil rights, Miss Majestica Simpson, which was her cousin.
Now, Miss Rosa Parks was here in Summerville.
In Charleston.
In Charleston.
Charleston.
And you were assigned to security detail for Rosa Parks in Charleston.
Yeah, for 1 week. She was there for 5 or 6 days.
All right, that is fantastic.
And she also.
What did you find most interesting about Rosa Parks?
Well, she too was like Representative Congressman, another congressman.
John Lewis?
Yeah, John Lewis. She was excited about being in a patrol car with someone her own color. Her own color, she said. And she knew that she would be in good hands.
You know, this is fantastic, you know, because knowing that these individuals who we would consider legendary and giants in the Black community, and you were able to meet and have conversations with them and enjoy their company, but also present to them that there were individuals here in Summerville who just had a fantastic time and grew up knowing that they will be doing great things. Okay. So right now, we're going to end this conversation with Tillman Millhouse, and in the future, you'll be hearing more and more things from Summerville Museum.
A powerful testament to what it means to lead with integrity. What strikes me the most about Mr. Millhouse is his character opened doors, not just for himself, but for icons like John Lewis and Rosa Parks, who found safety and a sense of progress in his presence. Stories like Tillman Millhouse's are exactly why I started and why I am restarting the Sentinel. When you see me covering the stories, you're getting the real McCoy. We specialize strictly in the facts and in the positive stories that define our community. To give you a feel for our format and flow, what you've seen here is just a glimpse. While the Sentinel Daily serves as our daily brief, the full-length interviews and the complete Tillman Millhouse story can be found on the Sentinel News magazine online at thesentinelnews.org and in our print edition of the Sentinel News magazine. That is where the story truly lives and flows. From family land purchased by a presidential musician to 6 descendants in the Summerville Athletic Hall of Fame, the Millhouse legacy is a giant one. It's stories like these that remind us of the shoulders that we stand on. I'm Wendell Nolan. Keep it local, keep it kind, and I'll see you the next time on the Sentinel Daily. Bye.